Mike Douglas is Michigan's retirement coach.
Before we came on the air today, we were talking about Thanksgiving plans, Christmas plans, New Year's plans, all the traveling. You're doing a lot of traveling at the end of the year, which is...
Yeah. Well, we do the same trip every year to Delaware. It's always our big one.
That one's
so
when?
That one's over Christmas break.
Okay.
But we always do quite a bit. Like whenever my kids' sports season ends, I try to knock out my work trip. So like their football season just ended. So I've got a work trip to Connecticut and a work trip to Tennessee. And then basketball season starts. And I try to not travel a lot during basketball season. And then as soon as the basketball season ends, I'll take my trips to everywhere else I need to go. So the travel's quite a bit.
You're a glutton for punishment. I swear, every time we talk about something, it's like if you have any kind of second for breathing room, you're just like, let's crowbar another thing in the midst of.
And I will say this, sometimes it feels a little stressful, right? When you always have something going on and you always have something pushing at you, or you always got someone pulling at you. But I get so much great advice from clients and the people we work with, because our average client's in their mid 60s and they're on the other end of it. And so again, I have these 4 kids. He's officially 15. He had his birthday 15, over the weekend.
I know.
Zachary's 13, Caleb's 11, and Emmy's about to turn 10. And we are in the thick of it. I have 4 kids on 4 different basketball teams, and we're in it. And I love every second of it. And I'm reminded constantly by our clients to embrace it, because life is so much more than the investments we make, than the business we build, than having this radio program. Like it's more than that, but it matters. Like the change you can make in the world through the good you do at work. Like that's a good thing. I love the value we bring. And if it means that for a while, I'm really tired because I'm chasing my kids' sports around and at the same time trying to really invest in people's families and help people retire, like that's a good place to be.
And investing in your own family. I mean, you and Kimberly, you're building this business at Life Plan Financial Design.
Yeah. And I think we'll look back in life and be like, we were at all the things we're supposed to be at. Like I'm not even just at my kids' games.
I know.
I'm coaching the games.
Coaching the games.
But at the same time, I'm still sitting with people every day, helping them make the most challenging decisions of their life.
Yeah.
And we're able to do it in a way that helps them have peace and confidence. And I think that's where we want to be, like making a difference in other people's lives. But at the same time, my number one job is to make a difference in my kid's life. And I feel like we're right there. And it's a lot of fun, but man, it's busy.
It's intense. Life is precious. Time is precious. And you are. You have got a great benefit and advantage of being able to sit across the table, get perspective from people on these choices of life. Now, when the tables are turned and you can offer some financial perspective, because the people that come to you, they maybe, they worked at one of the car manufacturers, or they've been a teacher, or they've been a nurse or a doctor their whole career. When it comes to financial, it's legalese is a term about the lawyer speak. Financially is just as relevant and how it can feel overwhelming and intimidating to so many of us. Let's talk about stock market indicators, because Warren Buffett himself, the Oracle of Omaha, he has a stock market indicator that compares the total value of U.S. stocks to GDP. And apparently it's flashing red right now, Mike. So to compare, in 2000, before the tech wreck, his ratio was 175. Today, with the surge of AI, that ratio is at 217.
Yeah.
There's other areas of concern. Gold has reached a record high. Credit card debt has reached a record high. The price to earnings ratio in the stock market is now at 30, which is the same as it was right before, again, the tech wreck of 2000. There's a lot of similarities on things that happened then versus what's happening now, Mike. So somebody might be seeing these things, might make them nervous, particularly if they're close to retirement and their investments. But is it all concerning enough to, is it concerning to you? Is it concerning enough to be building more protection into the plans you're building? What are your thoughts here?
This is the challenge with today's market.
Okay.
We trust Warren Buffett because he has been a steady hand through so many crazy storms.
Yeah.
He has been a calming influence on so many things. And there's a lot of people who have these exact concerns and questions. The way you're bringing up, the way you framed it is perfect, is like the headlines are scary, right?
Yep.
But what does it mean to me? If that's the question you're asking yourself, and as we go through today and cover some stuff, and that's something a concern and you want help with that, reach out to us. We have a website, michigansretirementcoach.com, or you can call us at 616-512-2127, and we can help you figure out how these headlines, and it's not even really just headlines, how these stats, these are statistical facts how they relate to your retirement. Give us a call. We'll help you figure it out. I just had this call with some clients of mine, Tim and Joanne. They're out of Ada, and they are retiring soon. And they were kind of seeing a lot of these same headlines and these same concerns, you know, and even sometimes it's not even the negative headlines. It's just the matter of, man, the market is so high. How can it keep going higher?
Is it getting higher? It's got to.
Isn't it going to reset? It has to.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it will. It will at some point. It always does. And the challenge is when it happens, does it change your lifestyle? Right? Because if you're 45 or 50 and you're working and you're dumping money in the market and the market crashes, as long as you don't lose your job over a market correction, it doesn't actually affect your lifestyle for the most part.
Right.
Because you keep on making cars, you keep on running your hardware store, you keep on doing the things you do. And then eventually I'm going to need money out of that retirement account. And that's when it'll affect me. When you're retired, or if you're like Tim and Joanne and they're getting ready to retire, the thought of the market crashing at the start of retirement is the worst case scenario. You retire and the market crashes, and now I'm pulling money out of this investment account that's losing money. So I'm doubling on my losses, right? The market loses it and I take money out. It's a bad timing. It's called sequence of returns risk, right? When you retire in the market cycle, because the market goes up, and the market will correct, then it will go higher, then it will correct, then it'll go higher. It's the same cycle over and over again. And where you retire in that cycle determines your comfort with the market in retirement.
Okay.
And so for Tim and Joanne, that was their concern. And as we ran through the numbers and we said, how much do you want to live off of? And I mean, I'm not saying like keep your lights on and not have someone come shut off your gas.
Right.
But like, what is the lifestyle number you want per month? And they came up with $6,000 a month. If we have $6,000 a month to live off of, that's the number. I said, okay, so let's go through your income sources. We have Social Security benefits. We have a pension. How much do we need from your investment accounts to hit that number? Well, we needed about $2,000 a month net after taxes to live off of. So I said, okay, let's go through. Here's your options. We can do a market portfolio. We can do a dividend portfolio. We can do an annuity. We can do all these investments and try to choose the right one that makes sense for that family, right?
Right.
The most important thing as we went through, we gave them their options and we chose the one that they liked the best. When you build a comprehensive retirement plan for someone where you solve for income first, meaning that regardless of the market turns up, down, sideways, stagflation, inflation, deflation, whatever, right? They still get their $6,000 a month after taxes with inflation year over year, the rest of their lives, regardless of the market. That's what we built. We started with income first, taxes second, investments third. Now that they have this income strategy that is basically market proof, it's politics proof, and most importantly, it's tax proof, they don't have to worry about income anymore. And when they talk about the way we built their strategy, because we put a kind of a higher focus on taxes than most, but for us, we built a plan that says they never have to pay federal income taxes again after age 72 because we did some pretty intentional strategies along the way. And for us, that's one of the biggest hedges. Well, how do I keep my income safe? Well, what if we could make it all tax-free income? That way in the future, if they raise tax brackets, you don't take a pay cut.
Yeah.
So that was a big one. But at the end of the day, for Tim and Joanne, again, they're just trying to retire. This is not what they do for a living.
Isn't that all? Is all of us want to do, Mike? Here's what I have. Can I retire? Will I be okay?
Yeah.
Three
and like you said, it's a language, right? Legalese, financialese.
Yeah.
It's like learning Mandarin or some other language where you say, man, I don't get this. I'm not good at the spreadsheets. Or even those who are good at spreadsheets, they come in and they say, I did not know about provisional income tax. I did not know about the Medicare or IRMA limits. Like there's a lot. And so for Tim and Joanne, we built the plan. Now they never have to worry about income. They won't pay federal income taxes past age 72, thanks to the strategies.
Got it.
That is what a comprehensive retirement plan looks like. We use what we call the 5-finger approach. Okay. But before I go into that, just if this is you and you're sitting out there saying, hey, I just want to know that we're going to be okay. And I'd love to know that the market can't change my life, but it can for the better. I guess just that it can only change it for the better. It can't change my lifestyle for the worst. If you want that type of a plan, give us a call and we will help you understand what it looks like to build that. 616-512-2127. Give us a call and we'll schedule time for you and I to talk for about 30 minutes and hear your story and figure some things out. But going back to our 5-finger approach, there's 5 things we have to take care of in retirement. Okay. Everybody has to. The first thing is income, because there's a great old saying, without income, you're not retired. All right. If you don't have a strategy for getting paid, you have to go greet at Walmart or do something to make money. So we need a good strategy for income that is market proof, politics proof, and tax proof.
Okay.
The second thing we want to do is deal with taxes, because we live in the net. We live in what's left after taxes. And we don't want to forget that, because sometimes we say, I'm going to get this much money. Then the feds and state take their cut, and all of a sudden you don't have enough. So plan for taxes. Number 3, and I'm doing them in order, in proper order.
Okay.
Build your income, deal with taxes. Number 3, choose the right investments based on what you decided about taxes and income.
Okay.
Number 4, do risk management. Don't be overly aggressive in the market because you used to be. At the same time, don't be sitting on the sideline while the market is easily handing you thousands and thousands of dollars of return. So understand where you should be from a risk standpoint. And lastly is a good estate plan. I don't put it at the end because it's last in terms of importance, but it's last in terms of process.
Okay.
Right? So we need to solve for our income, solve for our taxes, solve for our investment choices, solve for our risk management. All those things factor in how your portfolio is managed. And then we put a really good bow on the back end of it saying, here's how I make sure that the probate courts don't get my money. Here's how I make sure that my kids get the appropriate amount and how they don't fight after I'm gone. Here's how we protect all the stuff we've done over our life. That is a good retirement plan. You have to have an architect and an engineer who knows how to build a true blueprint to make this house. And then you need the right tools to make them happen. That's what a retirement plan looks like. A retirement plan uses the full 5-finger approach and makes sure that you are covered. If that's what you would like, reach out to me at michigansretirementcoach.com.
While we're on the subject of seeking advice and how we can do better, there was on marketwatch.com, there's advice column. Somebody wrote into this one particular column. It was a gentleman. He's 62 years old. He's married. He started saving at 23. And if you add up his emergency fund, his 401k, real estate holdings, and the sale of his business, it adds up to $4 million in savings, which is tremendous.
Yeah.
So in this column, he was asking about IRA conversions, annuities, when he should claim Social Security, but he didn't bring up the conversation about tax planning. So, and this is something I wanted to ask you specifically, because I know you see it a lot in conversations with people. They call you up and they say, okay, I heard an income or this risk issue. And you very often you'll go back to, okay, well, what about taxes? So let's discuss that. What are people missing in the way of tax planning in their retirement?
We are missing the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal, right? When I ask people one of the questions we ask them when we first sit down is, what are your top 3 priorities in life right now?
Yeah.
And in the perfect situation, they have nothing to do with money. If the meeting goes exactly the way I dream it would, they would not even talk about money.
Oh, yeah.
But unfortunately, it doesn't.
Right.
Because money is the root of all fear for these people, right? It is the concern. Well, what's your top? I guess I want to get the most rate of return I can get. I don't want a lot of risk, and I want to have some money. I want to make sure my money lasts as long as I do. Those are all great. The ideal answer would be, well, I've got grandkids in, South Carolina. I want to travel and see them. We've always wanted to see Mount Rushmore. So we've got these trips. Like that would be the ideal priorities and focus. Yeah. But money and the fear of running out of money has such a strong hold on us that we forget to ask the right questions. This guy started saving at 23 years old.
Yeah.
He's 62.
Yeah.
39 years of giving into something for the future. And now he's retired and he's asking about annuities. When do I claim Social Security? IRA conversions, like how do I roll money over?
All important
All
questions.
good stuff.
However,
but I look at it as you have $4 million.
Yeah.
The number one goal is, how do I make this money do everything I've ever dreamt of doing? And how do I keep as much as possible for my family? That would be the bottom line for me. Number one, it took me 39 years to save $4 million. How do I keep as much of it as possible? That's a big one. And then also, how do I make sure that we do everything we've ever dreamt of doing in our lives? He's married, right? Everything they've ever dreamt of doing without running out. How do I make sure that I get the bang for my buck? 39 years of savings. Let's live on this money. But also, I'd like to make sure I don't run out. So that's what we want to make sure our conversations. I just sat with Don and Laura the other day. They've been clients to me for a long time. They're early 60s, great savers. He's a business owner. She worked in another industry. They have plenty of assets. But when we first sat down several years ago, they were shocked at how much would go to taxes once they started taking withdrawals. Because they had never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
It was always a matter of, I'm going to save this money, then take the income out.
Yeah.
And as we went through it, when they became clients, they were 60 years old. Well, now they're in their, I'd say mid 60s. I think she's 65 and he's 67.
Okay.
But they're still not quite done working.
Okay.
So what do we do about all this money that's been saved? They've got a couple $1 million.
Okay.
How do we make sure that we spread it over their lifetime, but keep that number as high as we can without running out of money, without extra risk? We could always just get a more aggressive portfolio and probably do well over time. But good tax strategies think beyond the investment. The more you save, the more you have in your portfolio, the more you have in your estate, the more complex your situation becomes. Number one, success brings complexity, right? So for Don and Laura, as we worked through a plan with them, we built a plan that spread their income out from multiple buckets. We used different types of money for different types of taxation. We used some complex tax strategies to get tax deferral or tax abatements from the government. There's a lot of good things you can do when you're sitting on chunks of money. One of the biggest ones is when Don sells his company, we know a way to make sure that he pays basically very little in taxes for selling the company, even though he's going to sell for a couple $1 million. Why? Because we have intentional strategies that keep more money. So the higher your net worth and the higher your success, it brings some complexity. But with complexity grows opportunity. Those who know the rules are better than those who don't know the rules. If you're playing Monopoly with a kid, a grandkid, someone who's playing for the first time, they're dumb. They don't know any of the rules. They have no idea how to win the game, right? So you walk all over them. If you play with someone who's been playing for a long time, it's harder to win. In the same way, those who know the tax code can do a whole lot better and protect themselves a lot better. With success, there is complexity. Have a good strategy. For Don and Laura, what we built for them over time was this process to exit his business, for her to go into retirement, to have a successful plan. But at the same time, we are going to pay a fraction of the taxes that someone without a good strategy with the same net worth would pay. We are making sure that they're keeping more of this money for their plan, for their kids, grandkids, estate, the whole thing. Why? Because you've worked this hard to build a business. You've worked this hard to save the money, and you save when it's the hardest ever to save. It's really hard to save when you're 23. It's really hard to save when you're young because your kids are young and your bills are high, and you feel like they're high. They're actually not that high in the scope of your life, but everything's expensive and you don't have that much money, and you still save. So we should save that money. So number one, understand this. Success brings complexity. If you'd like someone to help you demystify or decomplex some of these things and make it very understandable and processable, give us a call, 616-512-2127, and we will help you understand your tax position, not just be beholden to it. So do that. Number two, taxes are the silent partner. They take a cut of everything you've ever had, right? So if you have a business partner, you have to split your profits 50-50. That's what the government is. You start a company, you earn money, they're a silent partner, although they're not silent if you don't pay your bills. So understand that. They're a partner in everything you do. So build the payout for them, but don't overpay them. And number three, the right advisor looks beyond investments into tax efficient plans. And not tax efficient like I don't want to pay taxes this year. It's over the next 25, 30 years. How much do I pay in taxes? How do I keep as much as possible out of everything I've earned? Retirement planning is more than annuity or not annuity. When do I take Social Security? It's about keeping everything and doing everything you've ever always dreamt of doing. Keep as much as possible. That is what we build at Life Plan Financial. That's how you protect a retirement. If you want to have these conversations, you can reach us at michigansretirementcoach.com.
Every weekend, we like to take some time during the program to do some Finance 101. Basically, there's this thing I've heard about, Mike. Help me better understand the purpose of it and if it has a place for me in my retirement plan. So right now, we're going to take the next 10 or so minutes to talk about annuities. Before you switch off, if you are a person, how dare you? You're not allowed to say the A word on the radio.
Here come the sales. Yep.
First off, the thing we always talk about, Mike Douglas and his team at Life Plan Financial Design, Mike is a certified financial planner. He does not deal strictly in annuities. He can help you with all different kinds of investments that he believes are a part of a retirement plan. One, another point, he's an independent, so he doesn't work for any kind of company or bank. So he is not here to push one product or thing upon you. Important for you to know that. But also at Life Plan, you guys do use annuities, and not all, but many of the plans you create, because you believe in good products. And in the annuity space, you believe in some of the products there. But of course, there are things that you don't like about annuities. So let's start first. Just baseline it in 1 or 2 sentences. What is the most basic definition of what is an annuity?
An annuity is a contract with a insurance company. In that contract, you put money in, either at one time or over multiple payments. And as a result, they will give you lifetime income. That is the core original purpose of annuities.
Okay.
There have been some other annuities created after that said, all right, you can still put in the money with an insurance contract. Rather than income, you can get some growth, and it'll protect you from the market.
But that's where it started. That's where it started. And the annuity industry has grown and changed since then.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to talk about.
Think of it as creating your own pension. That's kind of the whole idea. I pay into a pension fund and I get income back out of it.
Okay. So now let's talk about the broader idea of annuities. How do you use them at Life Plan? How can they help somebody in a retirement plan as far as bridging an income gap, and or, as you said, there are other ways to utilize annuities? What are other benefits? What do we need to know?
Can we do it as like the right way to do it and the wrong way to do it?
Sure.
Are we okay with talking about it that way?
Yeah.
Good. Let me tell you the right way to do
What if I said no? You're like, well, that's what we're doing anyway, Heather. So get on board.
Too bad, Heather, because I got to. Because unfortunately, when it comes to annuities, I almost have just as many bad stories as good stories. That's
Really?
the reality of it.
Okay.
Yeah, because so the good stories look like this. We have a client, a married couple, Bob and Linda. They're in their late 60s and they retired.
Okay.
They had about $1.2 million saved, and they had Social Security that was ready to come in.
Mm-hmm.
On paper, they were secure. But again, dialing into who the person is, Bob was terrified of market downturns.
Okay.
Absolutely terrified. He says, we've saved all of our lives, but the thought of losing it all in the next crash or losing a bunch is going to keep me up at night. I can't retire that way. I need some peace of mind. So if their goal, which for them, their goal was to travel and to do some certain things, and the thought that they couldn't do those because the market correction and then they wouldn't have enough income was a real concern. Mm-hmm. So what we did is we took their 1.2 million and built a portfolio. The portfolio included some growth funds, some opportunity funds for down the road, some money earmarked for their kids and grandkids because that was a priority. But then a chunk of the money went into an indexed annuity. It covered the gap between what they needed for income and what their Social Security would give them. Mm-hmm. So that way, Social Security plus income covered their monthly, not just need, but their lifestyle. So in any given month, market up or down, their paycheck still cleared and they still got to go golfing and doing everything they wanted to do. That gave peace of mind knowing that now, and that was a portion of the money. It was about 35% of their portfolio. The remaining 65% of their money was invested in the market, but invested wisely with their risk built in. So now it could grow and create opportunities for the future. For them, they had a guaranteed paycheck that covered their essentials and what they wanted to do month to month. They were able to have plenty of discretionary spending and growth from their other funds. And they really got the confidence to go on the Mediterranean cruise. Okay. They had the confidence to go do the things they wanted to do because they said, you know what? No matter what happens, nobody can take our house, our cars, or anything else because that's all covered from the pension, the annuity.
Okay.
That's the good story. Here's the bad story.
Okay.
We had someone come in and they had been really encouraged to roll over their 401k into security. That was like the big sales pitch. Roll over your 401ks into secure investments.
Secure investments, AKA an annuity?
An annuity.
Okay.
But it wasn't said that like it
wasn't fully disclosed. Okay.
Right. The billboards and everything else said just roll it over into something secure. And that always sounds good, right? And then you go to the dinner workshop or you see the TV spot or the radio or the billboard and it always says, oh, who wants to lose money in the market? Like, don't do that. So this person came in, they had a little under $1 million. And as we built the I went to go look at it, I said, where do you sit? Out of the $1 million, about $910,000 was in indexed annuities.
Plural?
And
many? Not one, but multiple?
Two. It was two. So two of them at $455,000 each.
Okay.
And I said, how in the world why do you have this much in annuities? Well, I told the guy I didn't want to lose any money in the market. Then I had this 401k that he told me I should roll over. And I went through and I kind of went through the what ifs in retirement. What happens if you need a big chunk of money out? Well, I can take out 10% per year and I can pull this out. But here's the thing. I know the rules the insurance companies have. No insurance company will allow you to put $910,000 out of $1 million into annuities. They won't do it. It's against their suitability requirements. They could lose their life. Like, it's a big problem. So this advisor had filled out the applications inappropriately, saying that all this money was liquid. But insurance companies know you need liquid money. You need a certain amount out for when the roof goes out, the drain field goes out, major medical expenses. So typically they say you can't put more than 60 to 65% of your money in annuities.
Okay.
So how did this guy have 90%?
Yeah.
Well, they went to a seminar. They heard someone talk about him. And the guy, all he would say in the seminar was, you don't want to lose money in the market. You can have a safe and secure retirement. And here it is. So the guy wrote the contracts, sold the annuities, and, for lack of a better term, did not have great practices in terms of what they put down for the people's assets. That's the bad situation.
Yeah.
The advisor gets a huge payday. You get stuck in these 10-year contracts. And if something real problems arise, you can't get enough money out without paying fees. That's the bad side. So I think, like so many things in life, we love something or hate something based on the experiences we have with it. Right.
Yeah.
So I grew up in a very, Christian family, and I grew up in a very faith-based community. And we were told for a long time by our pastor, listen, people will either see your faith and run to it and cling to it, or they will see how you act and run from your faith, right? Because you're an example of the good or the bad of it, the way you act. I always thought that was a great lesson. And I think that applies to a lot of things. People are sold annuities they don't need, and that hamstring their retirement and eliminate their liquidity. That's a bad situation. You shouldn't be sold something you don't need, especially when it's not part of a comprehensive retirement plan. If you sit down with someone and they are not a CFP, they are not a fiduciary, they are a salesman, then you should leave. Right? Because if you go through, it's hard to justify, and you'll actually see this. If you look it up right now in the news, you can see there's a lot of places that are being investigated by the SEC for selling annuities when they shouldn't be selling annuities. Not the person, but the person who sold them, right? So not the client, but the person who sold them. Why? There's a lot of people just slinging annuities out there with no regard for the well-being of the person.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when it's done properly, like Bob and Linda, you're on this Mediterranean cruise, or you're living your life the way you've always wanted to, and the market can't take that away from you. So when people ask about annuities, what are your thoughts on it? I see the good and I've seen the bad. I think the more and more, I don't like a lot of big government intervention in our lives most of the time. That's typically my style. Like, hey, listen, just let us all do our thing.
Yeah.
But I think if you're handling someone else's life savings, and we call them retirement accounts because that makes it easier, but it's someone's life savings. It's 40 years of their work. If you're handling someone's life savings, you shouldn't be allowed to do whatever you want. You should have government regulations that hamstring your ability to do the wrong thing. It should be difficult to do wrong and very easy to do good. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people right now who will have a radio program or have it, whatever, and they just will sell whatever and they'll talk about whatever, but they don't actually have your best interest in mind. There's a value to annuities when done properly. I've seen it time and time again. And what happens is the market goes well for a few years and people forget the benefit of an annuity. That's the biggest thing.
Right.
If the market's up 5 or 6 years in a row, people say, I should never bought this annuity. Why? Because then, I could be getting more out. And then the market crashes 30% like it did in 2020, the 20% drop it did in 2022, the 25% drop it did earlier this year.
Yeah.
Like, these are issues. And so when those happen, clients come back all the time and say, hey, I'm really glad my paycheck didn't change.
Yeah.
Now, their other money, that other 65% or 50% or whatever the number is, that money is still out there earning and growing, participating in the market.
Yeah.
And it's actually a little more free to do so because of it. So there's a benefit to it.
Yeah.
That's why we build appropriate retirement plans using appropriate annuities when it makes the most sense. If you'd like to understand if your annuities that you're in are good, bad, or it could be changed, or if you should get one to begin with, give us a call, 616-512-2127. If you'd like to talk about annuities without being sold annuities, give give us a call and we'll work through it. Or you can get us at michigansretirementcoach.com. Reach out and we'll talk about it.
Thanks for listening to Michigan's Retirement Coach with Mike Douglas. To learn more, visit michigansretirementcoach.com.
Michael Douglas is an investment advisor representative of Stewards Wealth Planning, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Financial professionals are not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if Michael Douglas is licensed in your state, please call 517-323-7526. Stewards Wealth Planning, LLC is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency and does not provide legal or tax advice. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through Michael B. Douglas, NPN number 9650939.